What do you do when you're married, but you find yourself attracted to someone else? Maybe it's someone you work with. Maybe it's someone at the gym. Maybe it's someone in your neighborhood or your school. What do you do? Join us today as Allen Parr answers this really important question. All right, today Allen Parr is going to be answering a very tough question for us from our Marriage Questions Conference. We spent 8 hours with 3 guest speakers, Mike Winger, Allen Parr, and Dr. Sean McDowell. They answered over 80 difficult marriage questions, and this question, I bet, is a bigger problem than most people like to actually think it is. Because people now spend a lot of time away from home. They spend a lot of time at the workplace, around people that's actually not their spouse. And that can always open a door for some kind of feelings for someone else. So join us today as Allen tackles this really important question. What do I do if I'm attracted to someone else? Watch this. All right, number 5. My spouse and I are both Christians. I work outside the home and I am attracted to someone else. We seem to have a connection like I don't have at home. So what do you tell someone?
Yeah, well, God did not make us blind when we got married, right? So it's not like you get married and all of a sudden you go blind, right? It doesn't work that way. We have eyes, we have a heart, we have feelings, we have emotions, and it's natural. It's natural to be attracted to someone other than your spouse. So once again, sounding like a broken record, don't feel like there's anything wrong with you or wrong in your marriage because you all of a sudden find yourself attracted to someone else, right? I mean, if you are attracted to your spouse, do you think that your spouse is the only person like them on the entire earth, built like them, talks like them, have the same personality? So you're going to be naturally attracted to some other people. So first and foremost, just be encouraged to know that temptation is not a sin, right? It's not a sin to be tempted. It's not a sin to be attracted to someone else, right? So don't beat yourself up about that. The Bible says that there's no temptation that has overtaken you except that which is common to man, which means that it is very common for people to experience this. But the bigger thing that I would say is this, is don't flirt. Don't flirt with this person, don't flirt with this idea, because this is where I think a lot of people get in trouble, is they feel like it's harmless to have these little conversations with people, to chat, to text, to go out to lunch, to have these private, interactions, and, I'm not physically doing anything, and this person really makes me laugh, and they make me feel things that I haven't felt in a while, and I've not really violated my marriage in any way, shape, or form because I've not physically done anything. And we're playing around with it. We're flirting and things like that. The Bible talks about this. It says, can a man play with fire and not get burnt? And the obvious question is no, right? So we have to make sure that we're not guilty of flirting. It's easy when you've been in a relationship for a long time and your needs are not being met, and you find someone who's finally meeting your needs. It's easy to start to engage and to entertain that type of thing. But flirting, really, it communicates to the other person that something might be going on in your relationship that's not really good. And so, or it could communicate that in some way you're available, whether physically or emotionally. And so we need to make sure that we're not flirting. Flirting leads to fantasy. When you start flirting, you start fantasizing about what this person, could be and how this person could make me happier. But then the last thing I'll say is this, is don't be deceived, because as we always say, the grass is not always greener, right? People say the grass is greener on the other side, but you have to mow that grass too, right? You have to mow that grass too. And so just like the parable of the prodigal son, this son was convinced that his life would be better if he just had something different. And I think that's the lie that the enemy feeds us is, you know what, I would be happier, my life would be different, and it would be better if I just had something or someone different. Not realizing that we have to mow that grass too, right? Don't be deceived into thinking that if I had this person, because essentially all you're seeing is that person's, you're seeing all of the positive things about that person, but you're comparing those positive attributes to all of the negative things that you have learned about your spouse over the past 5, 10, 15 years. And that way, your spouse will always lose. Your spouse will always lose in that instance. So don't flirt, don't be deceived, and know that it's normal.
I hope that if this is something you struggle with in your marriage, that this has really, really helped you. If you want to watch the rest of the session with Allen in its entirety, I will put the link below. Have a really good day.